Okay. Hope that worked. Jared's back. Changed his shirt. Perfect.
Wait, are you live?
We are live. Yeah, we're up. I think we're here.
There was my chair there for a bit.
I think that's
exciting content.
It is exciting content. Yes, there was an intro. Jared sounds quiet to me too, so I'll boost him.
Oh, it's probably because my mic is quiet.
I'll boost you on my end. But yeah, here we go. You sound fine in my ears, so hopefully they sound good in yours. Jared, can you say something?
How now, brown cow? The arsonist had oddly shaped feet.
You still sound a little quiet.
Yeah, let me boost my mic.
Okay. The music is loud. Oh, is the music still going?
How's that?
Let me check here.
How is that?
You sound a little better in my ears, but hopefully people will tell me.
Zone, auto zone. How's that?
What? Are you that guy? You're the one who did those commercials?
No, that one's like so much higher pitch. Get in the zone, auto zone. I can't do that voice.
Get in the zone. I think it was more like rock and roll, or
yeah.
I picture like
it's also more than one voice. It's like a couple voices.
Is it?
It was like
layered,
it was glam rocky, and I'm more like
glam rock is good.
Early 2000s R&B voice, so it's a little bit different.
I gotcha. Yeah, well, there was an intro. I'm gonna be doing my best to update it. I think it's in a spot where I can update it quickly, and it does not take up a lot of space, so that's good. We can watch it again real quick for those who didn't get to see it.
The new one?
It was the new one, yeah.
Nice.
I'll throw it up here real quick. It should play. Also, let me turn the music off. Okay. It should be paused now. Well, actually, I'll just leave it going. Because if I need to fade it in, it'll be fine. Okay. Here, let me throw it. It might just start playing immediately, so be ready. It sure did start playing immediately. Yeah, I gotta add more padding. The news director in me is upset with how little pad I gave that because it cuts to black and that drives me crazy. I hate that. So you think I would know better, but I don't. So I'll fix that.
Sean, did you send out a little tweet that I can retweet?
I sent the Discord message. I did not tweet though. So if you want to send if you want to send out a tweet, I will retweet your tweet.
I sent out a tweet about being on your channel.
Yeah, no.
We work for Sean here.
You do. You work for me. You come on, spend your own time here, grace me with your own presence. Yeah, I can write a tweet real quick. Hold on.
I'm already doing it.
Oh, can you copy and send it to me so it goes through my channel or my Twitter first?
Listen, I already do this for one person we know. Okay, I'm not doing it for another one.
That's fair. That's fair. Jared is still very quiet. Okay, let me.
Yeah, you're gonna have to boost me because if I turn up anymore, you're gonna start hearing everything that goes on in my my area.
I ain't mad. I'm not mad about that.
Listen, Daddy's got snickerdoodles tonight, and I don't know if you want to hear that. Okay.
I don't know what that means.
You don't know what Daddy's got snickerdoodles means?
No.
I mean, that can be a little vague, which is fair.
Like, I don't know if that means you ate a bunch of snickerdoodles and you have you're gassy, or
it means I literally got snickerdoodles.
Oh, okay.
Oh, yeah. You do, yeah. You literally have snickerdoodles.
I didn't know if you were like pet sitting for someone. You're like, yeah, I got snickerdoodles. He's running around back here.
That is just way too long of a name.
That's a very long name.
I have a rule on pet names that has not been favored by some people. I won't name who they are, but I like pet names to be no more than 2 syllables because then after that, I think it gets a little bit too ridiculous.
Mm-hmm.
It's more for like a quick recognition on the pet's end.
Mm-hmm. If you got to scream their name in a large crowd and it's going to get buried in all the noise and they're only going to recognize like the 4th syllable, you're like, fuck, this is terrible. Why did we name this cat Snickerdoodle? This is terrible.
Yeah, exactly. So if you're talking to your dog, you're like, Bartholomew. Like, you hate it. But if you're like, Bart, get over here, it's like, all right, cool. Although I would argue Bart is a little bit too close to bark. So that was also not an ideal dog name.
That would be very problematic. I think Pete would be a good dog. Hey, what's up, Pete?
Like, Bart is a great cat name.
Mm-hmm. Unless your cat barks, then that's confusing, Also a very talented cat. Right?
I had a pet mouse named Butterfinger once.
God. See, now what if Butterfinger got loose in a crowd and you had to call Butterfingers? And
because he was so well trained to recognize his name.
Someone's just chucking candy your way. You're like, no, but thank you.
Yeah, what if I lost him in the movie theater lobby?
You'd be, oh man, you'd have a lot of candy.
Can I order a Butterfinger? He'd get so confused.
He would. He's like, oh my God, he's eating me.
You gotta shorten it to Fingies, and then you're all good.
Hey, Fingies. Oh my God. Yeah, that could work. Or Buddy. Hey, Buddy. Butter. Maybe just Butter.
Butters is not bad.
Yeah. No, that's
my other mouse was named Oreo.
Oh, tricky. Very tricky. Oreo. Your mouth's going through a lot of stages there.
He died a lot. Well, not a lot.
He died once. A lot.
He died, and then I got a new one and named it Oreo 2, and then that died within like 2 weeks. So I got another one and I named it Oreo 3. This happened with 4 Oreos. And these were not just like I wasn't taking care of them. One of them had cancer and we didn't know it, and it just started losing its hair and whatever. And then one of them chewed its own head off. And so these mice were having some issues.
How?
It just started gnawing on itself on this side, and then it started gnawing on itself on this side, and then it bled out at the neck, and it was just like hanging on by like its spine and a couple organs.
Holy fuck, dude. That is traumatic.
Yeah, I was like 8 or 9, and I came down, and his head and his body were not attached anymore, and it was a little traumatizing.
This is explaining a lot about you as a person now. It's not.
It kind of is.
Oh my God. I remember in 3rd grade, my friend was telling me the story about his 2 mice. They killed each other by eating each other. And I don't know why, but picturing these 2 mice they're like just dying, but like still trying to eat the other one. Like I was like crying laughing, and I'm in 3rd fucking grade crying laughing, and I got sent to the principal's because like I just could not stop laughing at my friend telling me a story about his 2 mice that killed each other.
It's pretty common actually.
Yeah.
They did that. My sister and I each had 2 mice, and that was not the only pair that ate each other to death. So I don't know why they do it.
Oh my God. Yeah, that's so weird. Micah, you should have brought this story up back in the Shaun of the Dead episode. It would have been topical. This would have been topical.
That would have been topical.
Oh my God.
What was I thinking?
I don't know. Next time we watch the movie years down the road, like, oh my God, perfect.
Butterfingers, I think, ended up living the longest. We brought him over to a friend's house, and he got out, and he escaped underneath a pull-out couch. And then the dog found him, and the dog brought him back, but the dog bit off one of its feet in the process, and punctured its eye. But he lived for 3 years, I think, maybe 2 years. He lived the longest out of any of the mice, and he had 1 eye. He was an albino white mouse, and his eyes were red, and so he had 1 red eye and 3 feet. And he was living life as high as he could.
Jesus,
And then he started to get cancer after like 2 or 3 years, and so my mom said we should just let him go in a field, and I'm sure he got eaten.
Is that what you're supposed to do with?
I have no idea.
I don't know.
I was 8, and I was just like, okay, Mom, I'll do whatever you say.
You got it. My God. Okay. So don't get mice unless you're okay with them constantly dying. Yes.
Yeah.
That is
really.
I'm actually kind of glad we're talking about Being John Malkovich, because can you imagine if we were talking about like Encanto after this?
And let's segue into the podcast. Yeah, no, that would have been rough. Oh my God, Megan, thank you for the resub, by the way. Appreciate 2 Twitch babies. That's crazy. 18 months, my God. Yeah, thank God this is not Encanto. Which, speaking of, I talked to Ryan. He is in for next week with Hot Fuzz.
Wow, next week. Okay.
Next week, yeah. I said, is that enough time? I said, I can give you more time if you think you won't watch it this week. He said yes. So as of right now, we will be watching. I don't know. I think we'll do our normal time evening stream. Figure it out during the week.
9:30?
Yeah. Actually,
that's pretty early for him. So
I'm trying to give him the most time possible so he can plan accordingly.
Oh, we could also re-explore Fridays.
Mm-hmm. That's true. So,
it's an off-screen combo, No,
I love doing this on stream. It's important. I love records of it. I'm curious to see if he'll actually give it a shot. If he doesn't, I will be disappointed in him. And I hope he knows that.
But he's like,
if he doesn't give it a shot, he can't come with a podcast.
Yeah.
Yeah. Then he's just wasting everybody's time. That's what it is.
He needs to have watched it before we allow him.
Yeah. Do we need to watch 2 movies this week just in case?
What's our backup, guys?
Encanto.
Did you just watch that? I haven't watched it yet.
I actually haven't seen Encanto yet. The only movie that actually would have made sense for that beginning conversation, as far as like a Disney / Pixar movie, would have been
Ratatouille.
Mouse Hunt.
No.
Although
I do love Ratatouille, I would rewatch that movie. Why? I literally just had the name of it. It's the Coco.
They all
it's about
die.
death.
Oh, about death. Okay. I was like,
Have you not seen Coco yet?
No, I have. I love Coco.
I've seen Coco.
I mean, I think Ratatouille fits better because it's rats and mice.
It's rats.
Yeah.
Yeah, but none of them die.
That's a hard fact of life. We're learning lessons. You know what? If you think they aren't going to die at some point, then
I think it should be the old movie Mouse Hunt, because it's all about them trying to kill a mouse and he just refuses to die.
We should just watch.
You've never seen Mouse Hunt? Oh, that's a classic. That's who's that? He's famous. He plays.
It's such
Timon
a classic. He doesn't even remember Nathan Lane.
Nathan Lane. Yeah, he's.
Oh,
one of the main
you know
characters.
what? I do. I
Who's
know
that actor? He's famous.
It's a classic. I know nothing else about the movie. You know what? I do know this box art though. I've seen that box art so much, so I do know this movie.
Oh, Mouse Hunt was one of my absolute favorite movies as a kid.
Look it up.
I think you'll recognize
quite funny.
You'll recognize the box art, I think, when you see it.
Nope.
Really?
God, no idea what this movie is.
God, you uncultured fuck.
You uncultured.
Sorry. Wait, hold on. Sorry, I don't know the 1997 family comedy classic Mouse Hunt.
Excuse me, the 1997 classic. Okay, Micah said it was a classic.
It was a classic.
Yeah.
I mean,
It has a 44% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Nathan Lane, Christopher Walken. I mean, Space Jam has a 30%, and that's a classic for a small group of people.
Space Jam is not a good movie.
It's not. I'm just saying. There's a window of people. There's a window of people born from like 87 to 95, maybe, that are just like, Space Jam is awesome, and then everyone else is like, this movie is garbage.
Based on the board game? Is it based on the board? I guess that would make sense.
That would make sense.
Is it based on the board game?
Oh, you've heard of the board game?
Yeah. I didn't know they made a movie out of it.
You slightly more cultured fuck. Sorry, I'm just very aggressive. I got a case of this.
Board game.
I've got a case of the Sundays.
I got a case of the you fucks.
1997 American black comedy slapstick film. A lot of words.
Wow.
I mean,
it's got Christopher Walken too.
That's what I'm saying. As a 10-year-old, slapstick comedy, Christopher Walken, Nathan Lane, you can't go wrong. About chasing a mouse and not being able to catch him. It's great.
Listen, between the black comedies and the metal mouse that you had, I don't know how confident I am in these childhood recommendations.
One of my other childhood favorites was Eight-Legged Freaks.
I do remember that movie being so bad it was funny.
It was very bad, but I enjoyed it.
Is it one of the? It's like purposely campy, isn't it? Or is it?
I think so.
I don't remember honestly.
It's not like, I don't know. I haven't watched it since I was like 12, so I'd have to go back. I just remember it's
David Arquette.
I'm blanking on everyone. David Arquette. Yeah.
David Arquette. Yeah.
I was about to literally just say it was that one guy.
Oh, Nathan Lane.
Yeah.
I love their box art from the producer of Independence Day and Godzilla. So I love that they had to put Godzilla from '97 on this. That's
That's Matthew Broderick Godzilla.
That's the Matthew Broderick one. Yeah.
So bad.
Yeah, I loved that movie as a kid. Just because
I'm pretty sure my family saw it in theaters.
I 100% saw that in theaters. But I loved anything Godzilla, so it didn't matter. Like that movie could have been. I mean, that movie was rough, but I was still like, dude, it's fucking Godzilla. I loved it. Not so much now, but I did. You should do a Godzilla comparisons week sometime. Man, that would be. God, there's so many Godzillas though. That'd take us forever.
That is
also the first. The first one's black and white, so that's a no-go for Jared.
Yeah, absolutely not.
So, I mean, he could watch the other ones and then give us his opinion of the one he didn't see based on the nothing of it that he saw. I mean, I'd be interested in that. I don't know.
Black and white, so it's garbage.
Yeah. Well, according to the Wikipedia article, I didn't really care. You know what I do want to see? Is it Shin Godzilla? Is that what it? What's that one? Yeah, I think it was Shin Godzilla. Dude, that's the most terrifying looking Godzilla. It's just the Shin Godzilla. If you haven't seen pictures of that one, it's the spookiest thing. He's terrifying. I want to see that one so bad though. I thought it was coming.
Oh yeah, he does look a little terrifying.
He's just got like those little beady eyes and just his teeth, man, they scare me. Mm-hmm. I think he's technically the biggest of the iterations of Godzilla. Also, weirdly enough, I used to watch King Kong versus Godzilla, the dubbed one, all the time, and I don't know. It was on VHS. It was like that, The Little Mermaid, and a Goofy movie. Those were like my 3 VHS movies through rotation. Yeah, Nathan Lane's in a Goofy movie. He's that guy. I don't know if he's I don't think he's not a Goofy movie.
Mine was Home Alone 1, Home Alone 2, Lost in New York, and Mouse Hunt.
I watched a lot of the Goofy movie too, and Brave Little Toaster. And oh man, what is that? I'm blanking on the name, but it's the movie with the dinosaurs in New York.
Oh, Dinosaurs.
The dinosaurs in New York. That's not lame.
Dinosaurs, New York movie.
Is it animated? Live action?
It's animated. I think is it We're Back, a Dinosaur Story? Is that what it is?
We're back. Yeah. Yep. King and Skog said we're back.
Yep. Yeah, that one. Directed by Dick Zondag.
I'll watch anything by Dick. I can't even say the name. Oh my god! All right, hold on. I gotta look up this box art.
I gotta look up what else Dick Zondag.
Yeah. Oh, okay. I do know this movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is.
Look at that cast.
Yeah,
Sean, you said you'll watch anything by Dick Zondag.
Anything.
You might be in for some good stuff. He directed Warcraft.
Oh.
Or no, sorry, he did visual effects for Warcraft.
The live action one?
I can't even click his name on Wikipedia, so that's not a good sign.
You can click Ralph though. You can go
he did animation for Bolt and Meet the Robinsons.
Yeah,
both of those are actually very good.
They're
Spies in Disguise.
They're different people though, Jared.
What?
Dick and Rick, they're different people. I can't.
No, Ralph.
Oh, Ralph. Sorry. No, they should have called him Dick and Rick.
We're Back, a Dinosaur Story is the only movie he directed, and then he directed a couple episodes of a television show called Reboot.
He did, yeah.
He did Reboot?
Yeah.
Dude, Reboot's weird. That makes a lot of sense.
And then, other than that, he just did animation for actually a handful of pretty solid movies.
Was Reboot was that on Toonami?
I think it was for a little bit. I can't remember. I don't think it started out on Toonami.
I swear I remember this after Dragon Ball. I remember a show that was similar to this on Dragon Ball Z. Like I would watch Dragon Ball Z, and then I'd see ads for this show. Oh my god, I'm like having
it's originally Canadian, so it actually started on YTV.
Oh my god. Was Reboot ever on Toonami? Let's look. Oh my god, I think it was.
Dude, what a weird show. I'm pretty sure this is a show that...
Yeah, it was on Toonami. Oh my god.
This is a show that I think I have talked to people about where they said the animation of it like made them physically uncomfortable. Like they would have like visceral reactions to this animation style.
I can believe that from what I remember. Oh man, yeah. I couldn't tell you.
Weird.
I couldn't tell you a thing about the show.
Yeah, no, don't
do.
ask what the plot is.
I've never heard of it, so I'm lost here.
Yeah. I mean, remain lost, I would say, on this. So
I mean, you'd probably like it if I'm being honest with you.
It's kind of weird. I think I'd be into it.
I am into weird stuff.
I mean, listen, after watching this week's movie, I've come to terms with the fact that Micah likes some weird stuff. All right.
I like unique things.
With Swiss Army Man and now this movie, I feel like I'm getting a better picture of the kind of things Micah is into.
And the mice story wrapped it all up nicely.
Put a pretty little bow on it.
All right. I guess we can. That's a good segue to jump into this. I'll do our intro real quick, and then we can get going. Okay, I got my notes. Welcome to the Unknown Podcast. Oh my God. What?
Wrong one.
What a weird muscle memory that was. Welcome to the Concession Stand Podcast. Wow, that was weird. So clearly I got to think of a new way to say this because that was
Redo it so you can cut it out. I wasn't a part of that podcast, so I don't want it in my episode.
Welcome to the Concession Stand Podcast. I almost just did it again. Jesus Christ. Autopilot brain is in full swing. We're talking about... I really got to practice this and write this down. I just don't have...
Redo it again.
I don't have this. I don't have this. Jesus Christ. Everyone, welcome to the Concession Stand Podcast. I am your host. It's Sean. It's me, Sean. Sean, my name's up here. My Twitter handle is there. You're on this Twitch page, so it's... I don't know. Or you're listening to this on a podcast platform, or you're watching the VOD on YouTube. I don't know. I'm glad you're here. Thanks for being here. I got my good friends with me, Micah and Jared. Jared, Micah, please introduce yourselves. Well, I don't have to and fuck it up and say another podcast.
Since you said my name first, I will go first. And I am named Jared. It was a name given to me. It is not a name that was chosen by me, but I've come to love it over the years. If you add on air to that, but take out the D, that's how you get to my Twitch channel and my YouTube and my Twitter. So feel free to follow all those podcasts. Platforms. Only one podcast. Yeah, I don't have this down either. I mean, I don't know. Actually, Jared on Air is actually my letterboxed as well. I forgot that I was able to snag that too. Not like it's a very sought after username. But yeah, get on all those platforms. Follow me. Tell me about yourself. I'll be there.
All right, and I'm Micah. Keeping it short and sweet.
I love it. Yeah, no, I don't need the other stuff. That's perfect. Oh yeah, it's Baby Boy LaCroix.
That's me, Baby Boy LaCroix, aka peanut butter and jelly.
What? You're both?
Yep.
Best of both worlds, I guess.
Oh, that's Hannah Montana. That's not Micah.
Shit, dude. God. This week we're talking about...
I was just about to get into.
I'm just diving in. We're talking about Being John Malkovich. This was written by Charlie Kaufman, directed by Spike Jonze, stars John Cusack, Cameron Diaz, Catherine Keener, and weirdly enough, it does star John Malkovich. The IMDb synopsis of this film is: a frustrated puppeteer discovers a secret portal into the mind of a famous actor, an experience he mistakenly shares with his animal-loving wife and a frosty, attractive coworker. I want to warn people, if you have any interest in watching this, you should turn this off immediately because we're going to jump right into spoilers. I have never seen this before. I heard of this movie so much. I was telling Micah about this. I was watching the movie And for my brain was, I knew Spike Jonze directed it. I thought he wrote it too. So I was just like, as I was watching, I was like, God, this movie feels like a Charlie Kaufman type movie. And like, I was like 3/4 of the way through and I looked it up and I was just cracking up because I was like, oh shit, this is a Charlie Kaufman movie. I had no idea. He's just got that weird style about him. And it was kind of funny to get that far into the movie and be like God, this Spike Jonze, I don't know. So that kind of cracked me up that this ended up being a Charlie Kaufman movie. My quick thoughts on it before we start diving into things is I did enjoy this. It is very strange, very weird. I was messaging these two while I was watching it and I was like, I just hit that moment and we'll talk about that later. And then probably like 10 minutes later, I hit another that moment and it was, I was not ready for those parts. I was just knowing the title of the movie, I was like, okay, something is going to happen in the capacity of them living through John Malkovich, but I was not ready for where it was going to go in terms of where it went, I guess. But my overall, I mean, I enjoyed watching it, thought it was entertaining, strange, but entertaining. So
I have a couple fun facts to state at the top of everything.
Okay.
So this was Spike Jonze's first movie.
Okay.
This was Charlie Kaufman's first movie.
Oh, okay.
And this was Catherine Keener's first time being nominated for an Oscar for Best Actress.
Interesting. I didn't know that.
It was also nominated for Best Writer for Charlie Kaufman and Best Director for Spike Jonze. So all on their first go that they all got nominated.
Interesting. For those who don't know, Charlie Kaufman, he's most famously known for writing, I don't think he directed, but he wrote Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind. So if people know that movie, which I feel like most people into movies are aware of, Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind, he wrote that movie. So Charlie Kaufman does some strange things.
He's known for being very strange in what he does. This also stars a 29-year-old Octavia Spencer and a cameo role.
Yeah.
This was one of her first 3 movies. Before that, she was mostly a random cameo on episodes of television shows.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was a random surprise. That was nice.
I know. That was the first time I noticed because last time I watched this, I was 18 and I don't think she was. I hadn't watched anything of hers at that point in my life. So, and since I'm the one who brought this up, I'll let Jared talk about anything before I say anything else too detailed. But I will say, I went into this thinking I was gonna be like, this was fucking weird, and but I actually ended up liking it. I think more as like an actual adult than when I watched it for the first time at 18 in high school, because I think it was a lot smarter than I think I was able to understand at the time. I was just like, aha, it's funny, it's a portal, and it's John Malkovich, funny. So, but I don't know. I enjoyed it, I think, a lot more than I expected to as a second viewing. So, all right,
yeah,
I'll let you dig in.
I know that I have started it before, but seeing the ending, I'm almost positive I never made it all the way through. Why I didn't make it all the way through, I'm not really sure. I don't think it was I turned it off thing. I probably just had something to do and just never revisited it. Or I very well could have seen this movie all the way through and just forgot how it ended. The part that I remembered up to was the door in the portal. I remember that you would actually go inside of John Malkovich, but then after that, it gets a little bit hazy. I probably stopped maybe right before the first time Cameron Diaz went in, because that's where everything started to feel brand new. But I really like John Malkovich, and it's interesting looking at his career trajectory before this movie and then looking at his career trajectory after this movie, and how they also kind of speak about that in a meta way in the film, where they're just yeah, you know him, he was that guy in that thing.
Yeah.
Where it's oh yeah, you kind of get the movie right, but not really. But now I feel like anybody you talk to who actually like does immerse themselves into, consumer film or whatever, you say John Malkovich and they know exactly who he is, which is funny that we're doing this movie because it's almost like we're giving him free promo because season 2 of Space Force also just came out.
It's true. That is true.
Which he's in.
Good timing.
But I would say one of the nice things about my pass fail scale is that there's a lot of room there, and I would say this. I'll say it early. This gets a pass from me.
Hell yeah!
But man, is it weird?
It is weird.
I definitely didn't dislike the movie. There were definitely funny parts. There are weird parts, and we can dive into it more like as a whole. But yeah, I would definitely say that this is a movie that you should watch at least once. Because the other thing that's really interesting about looking up this movie is all of the reviews from the time in which it came out talk about how innovative it was. And even so that I like talked to some other friends and I was like, oh yeah, I'm watching Being John Malkovich for a podcast I'm doing, and they also use the word innovative when they talked about it, or like groundbreaking, because I guess people just weren't writing films like this one, or this is just like the first one of its kind. So yeah, I would recommend it for watching. Even if you end up hating it, it's still pretty cool to see the perspective. Oh, that's the other thing. I forget what you said, but the fact that I looked up. Oh, you're talking about noms. I looked up Ebert's original review of it, and he ended it with either Being John Malkovich gets nominated for Best Picture or the members of the Academy need portals into their brains in 1999. So, like, if Ebert said something like that, then
Yeah.
it's a pretty good movie, I think.
And I think that's what I find so enthralling about it is just not like any other movie out there. It's just very unique, and it's smart. A lot of the dialogue is really clever, and like one of my favorite lines is right after John Cusack goes to the portal for the first time, and he comes back to see Catherine Keener, and he's just like, Dad, don't you know where I've been? Like, I went in there with a piece of wood, and now I don't have the wood. Where is it? Is it in his head? Is it lost forever? Is it subconscious? Am I me? Is Malkovich? Like, whatever that line was, just like, it was so quick and fast, and it was just like funny and weird and clever, and it's really, I felt like it was like, I don't know, I was right there with him, with his energy as the character. I'm just like, what was going on? Holy shit, this is amazing.
He does eventually find that wood too.
Yeah, at the very end, yeah.
Yeah. I thought it was. Yeah, I think the movie was. It's a little slow. I mean, I wouldn't say slow, but it's just weird enough where I think you're intrigued the whole time. It's not necessarily a slow film, because like he's trying to find. They show him doing the puppeteering, which the puppeteering stuff was nuts. I don't know anything about puppeteering or anything of that, but like watching how those moved, and those are so lifelike and crazy. I thought it was great how it sets up where he's doing the show, and he's doing that show on the street, and it started getting like sexual, and I was like, oh fucking no, dude, oh my god. Yeah. And then that dad's like, yeah, just watch the show, and I was like, oh fucking god, no, here we go. And then obviously
that dad was being a bad dad, by the way.
It's
his fault.
Craig's
fault,
Yeah. But then when he goes to look for the job, and it's like, yeah, it's on the 7.5 floor, and I was immediately getting like weird Harry Potter vibes, like what the hell's the 7.5 floor? And I thought it was great how it's just like one, like that building is built that way, the mystery of that floor, and like I was trying to figure out why Flores,
why the speech impediment thing?
Yeah, because like I probably sat on that too long, because I was like, why is she's the only one that cannot understand Craig? And even I can't remember the doctor's name, but like even him, he's like, oh, sorry, I got my speech impediment. He's like, no, I can hear you perfectly fine.
Yeah,
like, I don't
Lester.
Yeah, he's like, I don't know what you're talking about, And so I kept trying to think,
lying to me about my terrible speech.
Yeah, and then I'm thinking, like, for like a split second, I'm like, am I fucking crazy? Like, I'm thinking, like, I don't understand what's going on.
I think that's actually why it's like that. I think it's trying to make you sort of doubt yourself a little bit. And I think that's why it's in there. It's as a device of just like, not everything is as it seems. And
That's
something's
fair.
a little off here, and
Mhm.
so I think it is supposed to just make you question things a little.
Yeah. I liked I wasn't really expecting them to dive. Well, I don't know. I wasn't fully expecting them to dive into why the floor was built the way it was, but I thought it was interesting, the history of the 7.5 floor and whatnot. But I thought there's like a lot of little details like that I thought were cool to kind of, keep you engaged and watching and just kind of enthralled with this weird, like this world that's real, but clearly in some, I don't know what you want to call it, kind of dimension or something. But it was, I don't know, it was interesting for me for that point. I don't know if you guys have any spots in between. I'm going to kind of bounce around. So if you dive in with whatever part you want to talk about, I'm all for that. So
I'm fine to bounce around. I don't have anything. I didn't really take any notes besides the trivia stuff because I was just enthralled the whole time. That I was just like, oh
Okay.
man, this is so enjoyable. So
I took a
yeah.
pretty decent amount of notes. The thing that like first struck me was like I noticed that part, but the low ceilings obviously was a plot device. And the orientation movie was so fucking weird. But like immediately when I saw that, I was like, John Cusack is actually kind of a tall dude, if I remember correctly. And I looked it up, and he's like 6'2". And I'm just like, man, filming those office scenes had to suck for him. Like those had to be really long days on set.
Yeah.
To be 6'2" and to be filming
Just like hunched like this all day.
Yeah, and they're supposed to be on a set that's like, made for that ridiculous backstory.
right.
And that was the first thing that stuck out to me. And also, I don't know. I really like. I feel like this movie reminded me that I like John Cusack. I feel like I've seen a lot of his movies. Grosse Point Blank is still one of my favorite movies ever. And watching this one, I was just like, this is a very different tone from what I used to see him do. His character sucked. Although I don't think there was a single character in this movie with any redeeming qualities. And that's always harder for me to engage with.
Ironically, I think John Malkovich is the actual John Malkovich is the only one who's just 100%. Like he's just like polite and he's just being quiet with everybody and just like, oh, thank you. Yeah. Thank
And
you
even then it sucks because like what 80% of the time he's on screen, he's not actually him.
Right.
He has to portray someone else. So it's like, I mean, he kind of sucks now too. Like he doesn't really get to be John Malkovich, which is, pretty funny.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was the first thing that like really, really like stopped me. And I was like, oh wait, I need to look this up because this seems uncomfortable.
It's the set design for that stuff was pretty. I wonder. It's got to be fun for them to make that kind of set and then see, like they're trying to scrunch around in like these smaller rooms and things like that. I don't know. It's got to be just fun to watch. I don't know, as from the production standpoint.
Also, I guess I watched this like at the peak of daylight. And whenever I watch stuff like that, if the sets are particularly dark, it's like more difficult for me. So for the first like 10 minutes of the movie, I didn't know that was Cameron Diaz.
It doesn't look like her. Like her hair's all crazy, and they did very little makeup. And
apparently, they thought a lot of people on set thought she was a random stranger and stuff. I guess just like, who is this? I don't know. Like no one recognized her in costume and everything. So that's kind of funny.
It's wild because you know what movie she did a year before this?
Yeah, I looked it up and I forget.
It's something about Mary.
Yeah, that's what it was.
She did maybe her like biggest, most recognizable role of her career, depending on who you talk to. And the next year she did a movie where unless you're like really paying attention, you can't even recognize her.
That's what I think is so interesting too, is like the casting for this, especially this was a first time director, first time writer. And John Cusack was he was a movie star at that point.
Oh yeah.
And John Malkovich was coming a few years after Of Mice and Men. And like like these were not small actors and actresses, and they all just like read the script and they were just like compelled, like this is so interesting and innovative. Like I yes, count me in.
Mm-hmm.
And it also I didn't research this, so maybe the answer's out there, but it did make me wonder too if Charlie Kaufman like left the actor name blank and it was always just going to be being whoever we can cast, or if he like specifically like was like, I'm writing this about John Malkovich and I'm getting him in and or something.
That's a good question.
My understanding was he wrote this with John I think he wrote it for John Malkovich and he pitched it to him over, I thought it was a few years, and it took John Malkovich said no, but he liked the script, but he didn't think it should be him. He thought it should be somebody else, but Kaufman wanted it to be Malkovich, so they kind of wore him down to eventually take the role and be in the movie and whatnot. Yeah, so it was, I think he had Malkovich in mind the entire time. So
cool. That's I like that.
Yeah. Do they explain the animal? Like, it's just kind of like they just have the animals in the apartment, and
Never explained.
It's never explained.
They never explained it. What I feel like it was. So she dropped it early on that she worked at like a pet store, or like he visits her at the pet store.
Okay.
So I took it as like she took the sick ones home
okay.
to take care of. That's kind of what I interpreted.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, I think that
was a bit chaotic. Like, immediately you're just like, what the like? This is so. Why would you ever choose to live like this?
I don't know.
I think also. I was going to say it's hard for me to not think about budgets now too, because as soon as I saw the chimpanzee, I was like, "Oh, this budget's got to be astronomical."
Mm-hmm. Well, that's what they were. I was watching the animals. I was watching the chimp and the dog interact. And I didn't know if like the chimp was just gonna punch the dog. You know, I don't know, or something. I was waiting. I was like, "Oh shit, man! Oh my god!"
I love the chimp origin story. That's halfway through the movie.
That flashback was so absurd.
Gosh,
what a wild movie, man.
It was a little I felt real bad.
Yeah, no.
So I guess we'll jump in. This kind of takes me into like my what the fuck moments of this movie, where it flips. So at this point in the movie, I think they're well into their scheme of letting people explore John Malkovich for money, essentially. And so I think Cameron Diaz's character goes in, and it progresses to where she's using John Malkovich to basically fall in love with Catherine Keener's character, Maxine, and John Cusack gets jealous. And so I didn't really know how far they were going to go, but then the next scene, it's like that happens. And then the next scene, he's got a fucking gun. And I was like, holy shit, at first I'm like looking at the screen, like, that's not a fucking gun, is it? Like, why does he have a fucking gun all of a sudden? And sure as shit, he's got a gun, and he's just going up to her. And I look now to see if they do the trick, because the training's always, you don't put your finger on the trigger unless you're going to fire. And so now it's been embedded in my brain to watch in movies, like, what is their intent to, and if it's just a regular person having a gun with bad intent, I don't know what they're going to do, but I'm always just curious to see, and like, sure shit. I mean, he had that thing on the trigger, and I'm like, oh my God, I got so nervous so quick, and it just flipped. Just immediate, where I was like, I had my guard down basically. And my God, did this movie just flip real quick. And I was not ready for that. So that was my first message to you guys, like, what is going on?
That was I just got to that moment message.
Yeah.
What was your second one then?
What was the second one? I think it was when they started taking over, like he started controlling John Malkovich, or, oh my God, I'm trying to remember.
When he impersonated Cameron Diaz when going to sleep with Catherine Keener again.
It might have been that part, yeah. It's just like,
and then he's like, and then John Malkovich is like,
yeah. I was just like, what is going on? Yeah, because that would make sense, because that's when he puts her in the crate, and then he goes. So yeah, I think that was my second, like, what is going on here? This is getting crazy. I put Craig holding gun on Lottie. Holy shit, nervous as fuck. I was 100% not ready for the Charlie Sheen cameo.
I love that cameo.
That was just, I love. He's like, nah, man, you were just smoking some weed, man. You're fine. Which is funny now knowing the history of Charlie Sheen, but
yeah, it's rough.
I like how they at the end they show him just like a balding mess too,
Yeah.
just like
Yeah, which is funny because neither of them look that way now, and
Yeah.
though it's what we're like 3 times the length of time away from the
Right,
movie as they
right.
said we were.
I thought this was an interesting tidbit of, or not tidbit, but watching. I think it's when Maxine is having dinner with John Q. Is it Charles and Lottie, and she's holding her cigarette and she's not ashing it, and it's just
Dude, that drove me up the wall.
Yeah.
That was one of my notes. Yeah.
I was nervous watching it, but then I'm wondering if that's just like she's watching these two talk and she just like doesn't even have the capacity to like ash the cigarette because of these two. Just like, is she in awe of them? Is she fascinated by them? Like, or is she just like so weirded out that it's just like, I don't know. It was a kind of an interesting little detail to throw in to kind of like see where her character was at in that moment with those two. I feel like probably obviously more towards Lottie than Charles, but
I disliked her character so much that I was like, she doesn't ash her cigarette because she's an asshole. It doesn't care where her ashes go. And,
yeah, I would say she's by far like the scummiest of all the characters.
Oh.
Yeah, if you had to pick a quote unquote villain, it's Maxine.
oh,
Yeah.
without a doubt. Yeah. Well, that's like she meets up with Charles in the restaurant, or like she's like, meet me at the wherever at 7, and she's like, so what do you do? He's like, I'm a puppeteer, and then she immediately goes, check please, and then it just cuts. I thought that was pretty funny.
His name's Craig. There we go.
Craig. Why did I wrote Charles down? Yeah, sorry, Craig. I literally have Craig in the next line too, so let's fix my notes here. I don't know these characters. John Cusack's character, so I'm just gonna start saying. I was not ready for when they're done being John Malkovich, how they leave. I was just not ready for like a random hole in the sky opens up and they just fall.
Just randomly on the side of the New Jersey Turnpike.
They never explained the wetness, because there are times when they're like soaking wet, and then there are other times that they're just like maybe a light glisten. They never explained why you get wet when you leave.
I know,
or why you don't get wet.
Yeah, I would guess it's when they're sliding down.
Maybe like preparedness of like whether you crawled in through the tunnel or whether you like didn't know what was going to happen and you got sucked in and like slid. That's the only thing I could think of.
That'd be an interesting thought. Yeah,
because even when John goes in, because he goes in when somebody else is in, the guy that he comes out with fully dry.
Yeah,
just
that's
fully
true.
dry.
So did he get?
He mentions he's like, that was my best time yet.
He did mention that, yeah.
So it could be like because that was his. He's used to knowing what to expect when you go in now.
That would be an interesting thing to. I mean, I don't plan to rewatch this like tomorrow, but on another rewatch of it or something, that'd be interesting to see the connection with that, because I wonder if it's something with. Because when John Cusack comes out the last time, he's just like, he's muddy and whatnot.
Well, it's raining too, isn't it?
Yeah,
it is also raining.
But I mean, he's just like covered in mud.
Yeah.
And so, but I know the tunnel they slide in to get to the portal and whatnot's just mud and stuff. But maybe there's something with like
could be like the length of time spent inside too,
something like that, or like signifying like the dirtiness of what you're doing as John Malkovich or something like that.
Interesting.
It was interesting. I thought it was interesting, the science of like the science, whatever you want to call it, of why Dr. Lester and them are like doing what they're doing. And they kind of they explained it enough where it was still kind of confusing, but like enough that I was like, okay, it makes sense why they're doing what they're doing and that. And it was enough to kind of like, I always think of Looper with time travel, where he's like, all of the time travel movies try to explain time travel. And Looper just went past and like, I'm not even gonna try to explain this to you because I'm not gonna waste my time, essentially is what Looper said with time travel. But It seemed like this kind of like found that balance of like, here's enough, it's weird, but just take it for what it is and just go with it. So I kind of appreciated the movie doing that. I was trying to see what else I've got. Only hearing the music during Craig's puppet show for Maxine when he is inside Malkovich. Oh, right. So she tells Craig to do his puppeteering. And so like, I was wondering the significance of that moment where
You don't hear the crashes or anything like that?
Yeah, it's just so maybe it's like a blissful moment for Craig because it's like he's getting to do what he loves, which is the puppeteering essentially, which is what he's doing, inside Malkovich essentially. And so I thought it was an interesting choice to see, like, and you could see he was like enjoying himself. And
well, I think it also mimics the very opening scene of the movie with when John Cusack is doing it with the actual puppet. I think that's just music, no other sound effects. So I think it's just like he's putting his masterpiece into it now real life as John. And so it's the same exact thing with just the music and just the performance. That's how I sort of took it.
That's interesting.
That makes sense. Yeah.
It's the kind of that correlation of him being a puppeteer and like using John as a puppet to have.
I think that's brilliant. Just like the way that like that's how he gave that character backstory is just like, yeah, it makes sense that he ended up taking over because he's literally a puppeteer. So he's puppeteering John. So I thought that was so clever.
I thought it was interesting reading about John Malkovich saying he researched this role like he would any other role because it's not exactly, it's not him per se. It's a version of him. And so he had to he did like research into how this John Malkovich, which I feel like it's got to be a weird experience. I'm sure it's like in This Is the End where it's the extreme versions of themselves or, whatever. And but I thought it was kind of an interesting, like I imagine doing that scene. You're playing yourself, but yourself is being taken over by somebody else who's being you. Like that's got to be such a weird mindset to get in as an actor of, okay, what would this character do as me, but it's not me, I don't know. And so I imagine he had a lot of fun doing like that scene with the doing the show for Maxine. Go ahead, Jared.
I was gonna say one thing that would be interesting to look up is how they shot the restaurant scene when he's with all the other.
Yeah. That was
like 99. You would shoot that significantly different than probably you would shoot it today.
So I will say that's also the same year that Star Wars Episode 1 came out. So there was advanced CGI out there, as advanced as that movie was. But given that those two movies had very different budgets, it's. But I agree. Like the only thing I can think of is that they literally either would have had to do like shoot him doing something dressed as something in each shot and then splice the footage together, or have everybody as different actors and then just like CG his head on to him, have him then do each individually and CG the head on. But yeah, that was a really impressive scene and also one of my what the fuck scenes, but in like the best way.
Yeah,
it's so good, just like because it flows too. It's like you believe it. It's like these are all individual characters, yet they're all John Malkovich. My favorite being the one where it's him singing on the piano and he just like dances his foot over as John's running through. And
I do like it. I was curious if he was going to enter the portal himself. So I feel like as I was asking that question, that sequence kind of started up. I was like, oh shit, are we like, so
yeah,
that was
definitely in my notes too.
Yeah. I was pretty happy that they put John Malkovich through the John Malkovich portal.
I wanted to know why Maxine never wanted to go through the portal. Like she never seemed interested in it in the slightest.
That's
like even when he found out about it, she was just like, cool, we can make money off of this.
I think her motivation was like control and power. And so I think at least at first there wasn't a way to control John Malkovich as far as they were aware. I just thought of this, but it could be the reason that John Cusack's character wanted to go in was because he liked being somebody else, and it was like, wow, this person's living a great life. Like he did not like his life. I'm wondering if it's saying something about Maxine where she not necessarily enjoyed her life, but she liked herself to a point. Like, she was pretty vain.
She didn't need to be anybody else.
Yeah, she was completely fine. She didn't need to be John Malkovich. She was fine being Maxine or something, maybe something along those lines. Because I literally, till you said that, I didn't even think Maxine didn't go through. So
no, yeah, not like literally as I watched the movie, there was never a point where she even slightly considered going into the portal. She wanted to either control Malkovich on her own, or she wanted to control Malkovich by controlling Lottie or Craig. But never was she like, I'll go in there and do it myself. She's like, nah, I can just do it from here. It's fine.
Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, I never thought of that. What else do I have? Oh, the anxiety. So I put my anxiety of when Craig, and it's Craig, right? That's who John Q. Okay, Craig and Maxine. He's in John Malkovich. And he's talking to the agent. He's like, I want to be a puppeteer now. And he's like, okay, yeah, like they just whatever. But he puts his coffee mug down. Did you see how he put his coffee mug down?
No,
I didn't. It's like this little table, and then there's like a little nook, and then the part where you would put the cups. He puts it like on the nook, and the mug kind of like tilts. And I was like, oh my fucking god, man! Like this mug's gonna fall. And it's just like I could not focus on anything else during that whole scene. Got ruined for me.
I think I was too distracted by how much of a dick he was to his receptionist.
Oh yeah. Oh dude, yeah, he sucked.
A royal asshole.
Oh, yeah. That's putting it very nicely too. Yeah, he sucked.
You're a terrible person.
Not ready for that type of cruelty, I guess.
Yeah.
I forgot about this. They're doing like the scene at the end or towards the end where it's Malkovich's the not documentary, but like the piece about him or whatever. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And I love that they're kind of like doing their tidbits, and then they go to the Maxine bit, and she's talking to like the reporter or whatever, and then the camera pans over, and they were interviewing Brad Pitt, and so clearly like Maxine just like barged in, took over the interview, and like you see Brad Pitt kind of like shark eye, like
gives her the side eye.
Yeah, he's like, who the fuck is that? Like, what's going on here? And I thought that was such a small little. There's a lot of cameos in this.
Yeah, there were.
It was
the Sean Penn one.
Yeah, that was a random one. Yeah. I was not ready for this.
They randomly mentioned Gary Sinise. At one point.
They did. Yeah. They did. I was not ready for that. This was a good sequence when Lottie is chasing Maxine through John Malkovich's subconscious, and they're going through the whole subconscious sequence was crazy. That was wild.
Yeah, intense.
Yeah, very intense. I think that says that whole scene. I'm sure you could unpack it and just be like, "What the fuck," you know?
Yeah. That was also a very Kaufman-esque scene too.
Very, very. And it was really quick context of at least this John Malkovich of you're seeing like the scene where the parents are having sex and he's just standing there watching. You're just like, what the fuck's going on with this?
Yeah.
And like just weird stuff like that. But I love those transitions of like how they're moving through. She's coming in sideways, but then like the camera like flips, and then all of a sudden she's right side up again,
Yeah.
And like how seamless that all felt was pretty incredible. It felt like, I don't know if you guys have seen the way that they shot the hallway sequence in Inception, where it's all like they built like that huge thing, and I doubt that Being John Malkovich had the budget that Inception had, and they built something like that. So it's interesting how they probably had to do those,
like they shot with it, like flipping the camera right at the start or right at the end of these shots or whatever.
Yeah,
I'm sure Spike figured out a nice little fun way to do it.
Hey Spike, what do we got here, bud? He's like, I'm gonna shoot her in at 9 years. I don't know how many years later he shot
10
her.
years later.
Yeah.
13 years.
Yeah, it'll be fine.
He mostly did music videos before. And so it looked like he did a lot of music videos for the Beastie Boys.
Yeah.
And so now he's in charge
legendary music video director is not an understatement for Spike Jonze.
Yeah, and now it looks like either he's working on or just finished a Beastie Boys documentary series or something. So it looks like they pulled him back in to be in charge of that, which I thought was kind of cool.
That is cool. That'll be interesting. See if I have anything else. If you guys have any other moments,
I have something that's not super important to the story or plot or anything, but just like the one little tiny plot hole that drew me out for a split second was when they cut to 7 months later, and it's John Cusack in John Malkovich, and his hair is like down to his shoulders. I was like, from experience of growing out long hair, no fucking way. There's no way he went from 0 shaved head to hair past his shoulders in 7 months.
Yeah.
Your hair will only grow about 5 to 6 inches, and that like maybe even 4 inches.
Yeah.
Like that was easily 18 months of hair growth, and so I was like, I know better than that. So for those reasons, this gets a fail out of 7 for me.
Wow. Holy shit.
No.
What a weird system bar you have. But I respect that's not my system, so that's fine.
Jared, do you have any other comments?
I think it was pretty funny. Sean mentioned the when he first like went, or I guess the only time he went into his own body, he just like kind of walked up to the front of the line as if no one would know it's John Malkovich. But then the end of that whole sequence was when they were on the Jersey Turnpike and some dude just yells out, "Hey, Malkovich, think fast."
Yeah.
And so, him being in this very, very tight, small office with just sunglasses and a baseball cap, it took them removing those two things to notice him. But some dude going probably like 80 on the Jersey Turnpike saw him from, 100 feet away and was able to not only recognize it was him, but also pelt him with like a soda can.
Yeah.
I was like, that's a funny little disposition there.
Yeah.
And then what else? I have a few notes.
I've got a fun little thing about that scene that I read. Apparently they were filming late that night, and for some reason they were trying to figure out who would throw the can at John Malkovich. And I think they had a bunch of people, a bunch of the crew wanted to do it. He's like, just throw like whatever, because he didn't think anyone was going to hit him. And they did it on the first take. Like someone hit him in the head it was like a half beer can or something like that. But that was the first take, was them hitting him in the head. And he was just like, he was so confident that they weren't going to be able to get it on the first try. And the sure shit, they hit him on the first try. So I think I kind of feel like his reaction there is genuine. It's like, what the fuck? Or whatever. So I thought that was funny. But that was that scene. So
I like that.
I forget what I said was the first thing that caught me off guard. Maybe it was it was the height. The second thing that caught me off guard was between like Flores and Dr. Lester, the way that they talked in that office, I like the amount of lawsuits you could get out of those conversations.
yeah.
I think what did Flores say? I wish you could file me.
Yeah.
Or something like that. And then Dr. Lester, I think he said, I want to be next to Flores's naked thighs or something like that. And I remember I wrote this down. I was just like, humans are not this forward. Like this is absurd. And this is also in a workplace. I remember just watching that scene and feeling so uncomfortable.
It does make a little more sense when you learn that later he's actually like a 200-year-old pirate or whatever the fuck, or like
he was pretty forward when he was like, "How old are you, man?" I asked. He's like, "Oh, I'm 104."
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Oh, all right.
I forgot about that scene. That was something about working his fingers too, or something. I don't know, but yeah, he
was a very fast filer. To be fair,
he was.
He could have had a great career in it if he didn't, destroy his life over the love of a woman he met for the first time in an orientation.
Right.
Who clearly could not give two shits about him in the slightest.
I love the interview scene too, where he's just like, "All right, let's see if you can check this out. Which one of these letters goes first?"
Yeah.
That one's not a letter, sir. Aha! You're so quick on there, or whatever. He can't remember what he said. But
yeah.
That's another thing that you're just like, what the fuck is up with this office?
And that's maybe that's maybe like what 12 minutes into the movie or something like that. Like that's early on, or you're just like, what am I about to watch?
I think that's where the movie does well in kind of keeping you hooked, because you're just like, I need to know what's going on. I mean, like, why does this feel so off? Because it starts off pretty, like a normal-ish,
a little chaotic with the animals.
Yeah. Was some weird things, but I'm like, okay, you know what? I'll buy into this. This is fine. And then, it just kind of slow.
As soon as the office scene starts, it's just like it kind of just smacks in, because it's like, why are the ceilings so low? Why is the receptionist unable to converse with him? Why is this interview with Lester so fucking weird?
I'd say it probably starts to get weird once Octavia breaks out the crowbar.
Oh yeah.
She's like,
that's when you're
going to 7.5.
What am I going?
Crowbar.
Yeah, she knew immediately what to do. Yeah.
Well, you could like see all the crowbar marks too on the elevator door, and just like, I would agree. That's probably the exact point where you're just like, what?
Yeah.
What movie did I just sign up for?
Yeah, it definitely moves out of the normal category as soon as you see that.
Yeah.
I don't think I have anything else as I look over my notes.
I don't either. I honestly, the more that we talk about it, the more I kind of feel like I enjoyed. It's one that, it's not going to be like on my yearly rewatch list, but I think like what you said at the beginning, I think what you said at the beginning, like whether you like it or dislike it, I think the movie does do a lot of things that I think are pretty interesting. And I think its story is interesting. As we were kind of touched on it too, that there's really not a character to root for. Everyone kind of sucks in their own way. But I do think the way that it tells the story is pretty fascinating, and it's interesting getting in the head of Craig and seeing kind of his, like why he gets so enthralled in being John Malkovich and things like that. And not that it's something, you'll agree with or something like that, but it is just kind of an interesting thought of taking control of someone that way, and it being somebody who is popular and a celebrity and whatnot. And
he does dump his likability at record speed, I'd say, Craig.
Oh, he does. Yeah.
I mean, he comes off as, you could interpret it maybe as him being kind of a jerk, or maybe you wanted to maybe even throw the word lazy at him when the movie first starts. But I do think there is some level of compassion there for where he's coming from. But like, then he meets Maxine, and you're immediately just like, oh, this guy sucks. Like, this is why he's in the situation that he's in. He sabotages what he's in. And even says something to the effect of that, like early on. I forget the exact line. And you're just like, man, I don't know why Cameron Diaz puts up with this shit. Why does Lottie do this? Why is she still with this person? What in the world made them fall in love? And then the movie goes on. You're like, oh, they both just suck.
They're both, they're both strange. Yeah. I remember it was this, for me, it was that sequence where it's like, oh, he's putting in a lot of effort to try and meet her for drinks, like a little, it's very like first crush kind of, or like
juice.
That scene was so weird.
Yeah.
She just goes with it too.
Yeah, Maxine. Whoa, who told you? I just thought of it.
It was so long.
It was very uncomfortable.
Like a 10-second scene.
I would love to read the screenplay for that to see if it was like.
Oh man, yeah, the writing for that's probably got to be really funny to look at.
Yeah, I'm always curious too.
Somewhere.
I'm always curious if it's something that's kind of improv, or because that's like some stuff that you think would be improvised, but more often than not, especially with movies like this, it's probably exactly written that way. And it's just kind of, like, I think props to Charlie Kaufman for conveying that like awkwardness, weirdness at that moment. Okay, so Skog's got a question for us. Swiss Army Man or Being John Malkovich for us three?
I would pick Swiss Army Man over Being John Malkovich, because that's one of my top movies of all time. So, but I would say they're both great to me. So, but Swiss Army Man for me.
Okay, I guess this would be like our desert island situation thing. You have to pick one,
right?
Yeah. Look at that little smirk on Jared. I'm curious about Jared's answer.
Yeah, it's Being John Malkovich because it has John Malkovich in it. I love John Malkovich. I think he's a great actor.
He is very good.
And Swiss Army Man doesn't have him, so it's a pretty easy choice for me.
So if Daniel Radcliffe was John Malkovich, would that have changed the movie for you?
If Daniel Radcliffe was John Malkovich in Swiss Army Man, I think that's going to change the movie for a lot of people.
Okay.
That's a wild replacement.
But
I'm not worried about everybody else. I'm worried about Jared. So what would that change the movie for Jared?
I'd have to see it. I'd have to see it. I don't know what John would bring to it that Daniel didn't, because that is I feel like the script is doing a lot of heavy lifting there.
So, Scott Grow, what if they remade the movie as a reboot, being Daniel Radcliffe? So Radcliffe and Malkovich
that actually
just
was
flipped?
one of the questions that I had, was if they made a sequel where they essentially had the same plot, but maybe they did some different things with it. Like, who would it be cool to see do this? Like, who would you want to see a being blank of?
Daniel Radcliffe would be a good one because he gets into weird movies nowadays, and so like he's a unique and like quirky person from what I've heard. So it's like that could be a good one, but I think it also would be funny.
It would depend on how the script is written, though, because like even with this one, again, we only get maybe 10-20 minutes of actual John Malkovich content of him being John Malkovich, whereas the rest of the movie he is being controlled. Right. So it's like I don't really want to see Daniel Radcliffe get controlled, because I think Daniel Radcliffe, especially based off the movies that he's done, could bring something unique to a role like this. Like after I saw Guns Akimbo, I was like, this dude will fucking do anything. So like I would want to see more of Daniel Radcliffe in the movie than
that's true.
Like I would want to see Daniel Radcliffe in the Craig role. I think that would be a lot of fun. But who would be the person they're going into? I think I'd want to see maybe somebody who has a more quote unquote like glamorous life. Like John Malkovich had a pretty modest New York apartment that he just, woke up in the morning, read the paper, ate his toast and his coffee, did his lines, and then went about the rest of his day. Like I think it would be cool to see this movie done with somebody who like what if you got to be The Rock for a day?
I was just gonna say, what if it was Dwayne Johnson?
Like being Dwayne Johnson. Yeah.
Just like the highest paid actor.
Like that would be wild.
I think Danny DeVito would be my choice.
Being Danny DeVito would be pretty funny. But see, again, he's somebody else who I feel like
he's already like quirky.
He would bring so much more being outside of the body, Like he's a better supporting character. I just don't. Again, it also depends on how the script is written, who the main person would be. But I don't think it. I also don't think it's out of the realm of possibility of this movie getting maybe not a sequel, but like
just like a
reimagined,
a reboot of some sort.
Well, it did get reimagined into a porn parody called Being Ron Jeremy.
Genuinely not surprised. It's
I personally didn't know that's where you were going.
Yeah, that's so. Is that like the first like POV like VR type?
I don't know. I haven't seen it
way before that.
You haven't watched it. You didn't do. So you're going to tell us about it, and you're not going to give us any.
I should have. All I know is the plot is a nerd who works at a sex shop finds a door at the back of the sex shop that leads into the mind of Ron Jeremy, and then he just starts going.
What does he start doing?
A lot of sex.
What's the next part?
A lot of
sex.
Doing the sex.
Man,
and mind you, this was not Ron Jeremy in his prime. This was Ron Jeremy in his obese, long hair, balding, probably already doing scummy things to people part of his life.
Yeah. Well, I guess this will be for the After Dark episode we do of talking about being. I don't want to watch that at all.
I want to double back real quick. That scene where he's guessing her name, it's written in the script. I found the script.
Exactly like that.
Exactly like that. So Craig, how about this? If I can guess your first name within 3 tries, you have to come out for a drink with me. Maxine, why not? Craig, great. Watches her face as he guesses. Ma no to Carl Maxine. Who told you?
Yeah, that's exactly how it is.
Like literally exactly like he memorized exactly which.
I mean, props to those two because they pulled it off, and that's where those two roles come together beautifully: the writer and the actor.
Actually, being Paul Dano would probably be a good movie.
That could be good.
Be interesting.
He's pretty mild and quaint in his real life, but he also kind of goes off and does crazy shit too sometimes.
I think he subscribes a tad bit to the method acting methodology too. So it'll be kind of cool to watch him maybe while he's making another movie. And seeing how he like goes in between those if he does. It's funny you mentioned that, Scott. Being Cillian Murphy, that one actually did come into my head. That was like I think the second one that I thought would be interesting because I don't know anything about his normal life, but I do know that every time I've seen him as a character, he throws his whole fucking body into those characters. So it would also track.
It would also track because like John Malkovich was not a household name essentially back then, and I would say Cillian Murphy's probably is just as famous as John Malkovich was back then, but is maybe not necessarily a household name.
He's probably on the exact same plane as like, oh, that guy from that one thing.
Yeah,
where you're like, you know his face, but you just forget his name.
Like the only time I could drop his name and somebody would be like, oh yeah, I know him, is like with other film buffs. Otherwise you'd have to be like, oh, he's the Scarecrow and
I'd say just regular TV people, because I think whenever I'm talking about him, I just have to be like the guy from Peaky Blinders. And
I guess that's true. I forgot about that.
But I mean, I'm never like, oh, the guy from Red Eye, and people are like, oh yeah, Red Eye.
You don't want to talk to those people anyway.
What an interesting movie.
Are you talking about this movie or Red Eye?
Red Eye.
Oh, okay. Well, I think this movie too is an interesting movie.
The height of Rachel McAdams' fame, decided to make a airplane thriller. Cillian Murphy.
Those are classics.
Classic.
Classic.
All right. Do we want to know about the budget and the gross of John Malkovich?
Mm-hmm. I'm curious, just because of the animals alone. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Would you like to guess any of these, or should I just start dishing stuff out?
I'd say go for the dish.
Yeah.
Personally.
All right, let's do the dish. So, budget on this was $13 million.
Pretty modest.
That's low.
Worldwide gross $23 million.
Wow.
Okay.
So to look at something similar, same year the movie Rushmore came out. That had a budget of $9 million. So just
it made $500 million because it's one of the best movies ever made.
And it grossed $17 million.
Close, Jared. It's almost 500.
So
criminally low.
Those two are just about on the same level of the budget was almost the exact same, and it made just about double its budget.
I can't fucking wait for Wes Anderson series.
God, look at you, dude. That's the biggest smile I've ever seen in your life.
I love Rushmore. Is so good. It's so good. It's one of my favorite movies ever.
Is that your Swiss Army Man?
Whoa, what do you mean by that?
I mean, Micah loves
right
Swiss
up there
Army
as
Man.
One of your highest.
Well, everybody loves Rushmore. Who doesn't love Rushmore?
Me.
There's odds.
Wait, do you really not like Rushmore?
I don't like it, no.
Are you kidding me? Rushmore's perfect.
No. I watched it maybe like 6-7 years ago, and I was just like, why does everybody like this? I don't get it.
Why does my future podcast co-host love this movie?
Wow.
I think it's one of Kara's favorite movies.
Kara's great.
Interesting. Yeah, Kara can come on the podcast for that one.
I'm gonna text her real quick and ask her what her 5 favorite movies are.
It's so good.
I would absolutely give it another watch. That was probably I watched it when I was maybe like 21, 22, and I just like didn't get why it was so.
Why Jared on air was gonna love Rushmore.
I like your nurse's uniform, guy. These are OR scrubs. Oh, are they? That's incredible. Incredible. The delivery from Jason Schwartzman on that line alone is one of the greatest things in cinematic history. I love Rushmore. I can talk about Rushmore all day. I can't wait for us to watch Rushmore.
I think.
I'm happy to do it at some point. I have no ill will against it. I would have given it like a 4 out of 7, 3 out of like I didn't think about it ever again. I was like, meh, that was a movie.
All right. Well, so before we jump into, I feel like a rant's coming. I can see Jared getting fired up. We'll go to our rating. So Jared, you gave it a pass.
Being John Malkovich gets a pass. Yeah.
Gets a pass. I think for this, I would give this 3 Rudy paws for me.
Out of like 4 paws and a boop, right? 4 paws and
4 paws and a boop. Yeah.
All right, cool.
So yeah.
I think I will give this a.
Are you doing a half? Are you doing halves with yours? Like, are you doing like 5 and a half?
I was trying to avoid doing halves because I like it being clean with just the full numbers.
Okay.
But then when I'm looking at my comparisons, like, like, oh well, I like it better than this one, but not as much as this one. But then there's no in between.
No, just look at me and Jared and give your rating. Don't worry about your other movies.
All right, just looking at you two.
Yeah.
I think I would give this a 5 out of 7.
5 out of 7. Okay.
I think it's pretty good. I don't think I would ever say it's one of my favorite movies, but I would definitely recommend it to someone who, if they had been like, oh, I've never seen that, and they enjoy watching movies in general.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't recommend it to my parents, but like I would recommend it to somebody who's like, oh yeah, I tend to watch good films and stuff. I'd be like, oh, okay, well, if you haven't seen this, like, you're in for a trip. This is such an interesting film.
Mm-hmm.
I think what I'm gonna start doing is maybe one of my gimmicks, because Micah's got the budgets.
Mm-hmm.
I think I'm gonna start looking for my favorite Letterboxd review
of the movie.
I like that.
I think that's my thing, because like literally the most recent review is, I don't know what I was expecting, but it wasn't this, 3.5 stars.
I mean, I think that's a fair review, and that's a fair rating for that movie, I would say.
And then the top review is just Malkovich about 30 times, mimicking the scene where he's in, the restaurant.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think that's gonna be my new thing.
I like that. That's a good. That's good. My niche will be hosting the podcast. So.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
I have a few notes on that, but that's fine.
Oh, are you hosting the podcast? Yeah, we'll fix your fucking intro, Sean, and learn your podcast. God. I think what we can do too is so next week will be this week with Ryan, and I think then we can do we can vote for, unless you just want to pick, since you're very passionate about Wes Anderson, or if you want to leave it up to the fine folks that are watching us here and listening to us and whatnot about what Wes Anderson movie we pick. I mean,
We'll get let's get a few more movies under our belt before we go full Wes Anderson. That's like, I will save you all that for a little bit longer, so you can kind of get my viewpoint on other movies, because once we open the Wes Anderson box, I'm not closing it.
I mean, I kind of want you to open the box. Why?
Well, let's get some more movies in here.
Yeah.
Let's
Okay.
get some more film. Let's get some more thoughts.
I mean, we're already hitting our second Edgar Wright movie, and we're going to be on episode 6. So take that for what you will. We've got 2 Edgar Wright movies and 0 Wes Anderson movies, Jared.
Don't worry, there's a lot of Wes Anderson movies to go around. I still need to watch Bottle Rocket, to be fair. That's like the only Wes Anderson movie I think I haven't seen.
I have seen Bottle Rocket. I feel like I haven't seen Isle of Dogs.
And, I didn't end up watching French Dispatch. I ended up diving into all the TV that I needed to catch up on, because
that's good.
Came out.
That's good, because I sent that to you guys. I think it's coming out on HBO. So
exactly. Yeah, I also saved myself $4. So.
Hell yeah, yeah, boy! All right.
All right.
That'll be a good one.
I'm totally willing to change my mind on it, and I'm totally willing to go in with a fresh pair of eyes.
Why are you bringing?
Jason Schwartzman also in the latest season of Righteous Gemstones, which I think the second to last episode came out while we were filming. So
Oh yeah, it's also Euphoria night, isn't it? I keep seeing that pop up on Twitter.
it is indeed Euphoria night. Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, and John Oliver is coming back tonight too.
Oh yeah.
Oh, I did not know that.
Yeah, I got an HBO ad while I was watching Taskmasters.
Woohoo!
You ever heard of that, Jared?
One
I'm
of these
actually
weeks,
getting YouTube Shorts for Taskmaster now, so thanks a lot.
Hey, you're welcome.
one of these weeks, we should need to do like a TV special.
It's just Taskmasters.
100%. It's just Taskmaster.
One of the guys from Taskmaster is now on like one of the late night TV shows. I can't remember which one it is because I saw him in a Taskmaster short, and then I also saw him on like maybe Kimmel or something like that. It probably wasn't Kimmel because I think Kimmel still has Guillermo.
Like as a permanent role.
I think so. He was like the new announcer. Maybe it was Colbert. But it was a dude. He has a lot of hair. He usually wears his hair up in like a bun.
I can't say anyone's coming to mind, but I'll look into it maybe.
What are you gonna do? You know, I'll watch
Just
that.
Jared's starting fucking rumors and get me riled up.
No.
Yeah.
What is this? Series 13.
They're going on Series 13.
I'll find
Kara
it.
says, I used to really like Rushmore, but I haven't seen it in a long time, and I'm not sure I'd still include.
Yeah, I just don't. What are y'all doing?
They're just living their lives.
I didn't even bring it up. I just asked her what her top 5 movies were.
What is this guy's name?
Robbie Bobby.
I gotta go to the Taskmaster YouTube.
Dick Zondyke or whatever. Dick
Zondag.
Zondag.
Rushmore is the anti-Midsummer.
While Jared's looking, I'll throw some more
Some
numbers
box.
at you.
Yeah.
10 Things I Hate About You came out this year.
Oh, interesting.
Had a budget of 30 million.
Wow.
Made 53 million. Domestically, 10 Things I Hate About You did just as well as Being John Malkovich.
Wow. So that did not do that great.
Skog also asked if it got nominated. It actually didn't. They did not listen to Roger Ebert. It got nominated for Best Screenplay, but not Best Picture, because that was I'm trying to remember this off the top of my head. It was like Cider House Rules, The Insider. I don't remember the other two.
Are you looking at Best Picture nominees?
Yeah, Best Picture, the 2000 Academy Awards. But Spike Jonze got, or not, maybe it was Spike Jonze. It got nominated for Best Screenplay, and I think
Screenplay, Director, Actress. Those were the
okay,
three.
it was actress. I thought it might have been supporting actress. Okay.
Where's Best Picture?
Should be right at the top.
Catherine Keener lost to Gwyneth Paltrow for Shakespeare in Love.
Oh.
Interesting.
Best Picture. Best Pictures that year: Shakespeare in Love.
Oh, that was
Elizabeth, Life is Beautiful, Saving Private Ryan, The Thin Red Line.
Wait, what awards are those?
99.
Oh no, you went 2000.
It didn't. If the movie came out in 99, wouldn't it be in the?
It was
99.
on the ones that were held in 2000. Hold on.
Oh, okay.
It missed that cutoff or whatever.
Yeah.
Best
Let's see, Academy Awards. It was Cider House Rules, American Beauty, The Green Mile, The Insider, and The Sixth Sense.
And it went to
Interesting.
American Beauty. God, I love The Green Mile.
Yeah, and then Best Director, he lost to Sam Mendes for American Beauty. And then that's Best Screenplay. It lost to American Beauty.
I do remember American Beauty being a big deal when it came out.
Yeah, Spike Jonze gotta hate that movie.
Lost to Angelina Jolie for Girl Interrupted. For Catherine Keener did.
So yeah, I mean, to be fair, kind of I guess kind of a hard hitting year for movies with, Green Mile, Sixth Sense,
Yeah.
Talented Mr. Ripley, Magnolia, Cider House Rules.
I don't think Green Mile won for anything.
I'm not seeing it.
It won a special place in your heart. That's all that matters.
It did. That's my second favorite movie.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, it didn't. Oh wow, You'll Be in My Heart from Tarzan won that year.
You'll
You be in my heart.
Best sound effects editing, The Matrix. Wait, The Matrix was in this year?
Oh,
It didn't get nominated for all this other shit? Wow.
Scott wrote, I always feel bad for movies that get slammed by its neighbors. Like that Master and Commander would have won way more awards, but it hadn't been head to head against Lord of the Rings. That is fair. I mean, that's I'm sure Micah can relate to that with Shawshank.
100%.
Yeah.
That was the year Shawshank came out. Was I think it was 94, and that's also the same year Forrest Gump came out.
Wasn't Master and Commander also like 4 hours long though?
It was very long. I mean, to be fair, Lord of the Rings is also very long. I'm assuming.
Master and Commander. Wait, was there two of them? Oh wait, no, that's not. Okay. I was like, what? Master and Commander: The Far Side of the World, is that the movie? What's its runtime? 138 minutes.
It's not too bad.
2 hours,
a little over
18.
2.
Yeah, so that's probably shorter than Lord of the Rings.
I'm guessing it was up against Return of the King. Return of the King was easily the
201 minutes.
Yeah, that one was pushing.
You ever looked at how much money that movie made?
Which one?
Return of the King.
I want
Too much money.
I want to say it was around $1 billion. I'd be surprised if it wasn't.
Yeah, 94 million budget, 1.146 billion box office.
Yeah. Return of the King's easily like a half hour longer than I think.
Have we ever asked you what your favorite Lord of the Rings is?
Fellowship's mine. I love the first one. There's something with like the color grading on the first one and whatnot and I'm a sucker for movies where they're setting everything up and you're meeting everybody and all these things. Like I love this setup movies like that. So, what about Return of the Mummy? If we're talking the Brendan Fraser Mummy movies, those are great movies. So
funnily
not the third one,
enough,
first and second one.
The Mummy came out in 1999. I almost talked about it in my budget thing.
Yeah.
It was the 26th highest grossing movie that year.
Wow, 26th. What was the number one? You never said that.
Star Wars Episode 1.
Oh, okay.
Makes
that makes
sense.
sense.
It made 950 million or something like that.
What? Okay, so what was number two that, had a chance? No, it didn't have a chance.
Number 2 was The Sixth Sense.
Okay, that also makes sense.
That does, yeah. You mean The Sixth Sense?
The most interesting one to me is The Blair Witch Project is number 10.
Man, what a moment in culture.
Yeah.
It had a budget of 60,000 and it made worldwide 250 million.
I just randomly closed out of a window, and actually I think this is very interesting. One of the Letterboxd reviews is, wish I could enter that door and wake up as Robert Pattinson. That would actually be being Robert Pattinson, I think would be a very interesting movie. Because that dude, I can see that dude's all over the place.
He's kind of like Daniel Radcliffe. They both have that. They had their movies with Harry Potter and Twilight, and although Robert was in both, he's lucky. And they both just kind of like they did those movies, and then they just like, fuck it, man, I want to do, and like I haven't seen Good Times, but I've heard good things about Good Times. Like it's very tense. I think that was the same guys that did Uncut Gems, right? I think.
Yes, Safdie brothers.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So
have you ever read that that interview with Robert Pattinson? I think it was a GQ interview where he like was trying to heat something up, but he left it in tin foil, and he thought he was putting it in an oven, but he was putting it in a microwave, and so he almost blew up the apartment that they were in.
No,
that's real life Robert Pattinson. Like that's not like acting or anything. Like that's actually him. That was like a method or him preparing for a role or anything. He was just like,
I will burn this apartment down. Let's see how I would. Interesting.
So yeah, that would actually be a fun one.
Brendan Fraser 90 movies are universally flawless. Don't at me, Scott. The only reason I would at you is to agree with you because The Mummy and The Mummy 2 are excellent movies. Enjoy those movies through and through. I don't care about the CGI with The Rock in the second one. Doesn't matter. Movie's great. They're fun. They're fun watches. So, and what that was 90s would have been Tarzan for Brendan Fraser.
Tarzan also came out in 99. That was the 5th highest grossing movie.
Is that the Disney?
No, that's the animated one.
Yeah,
Never
okay.
mind.
Oh, George of the Jungle is what I'm thinking of. You're right. Yeah. Sorry.
George of the Jungle.
Yeah. I'm getting my men in.
I did the same thing.
I know.
Men in a loincloth.
Men in loincloth.
In the jungle.
Yeah. It just all looks the same to me. I don't know. Oh man. Yeah.
We actually do need to figure out what we're gonna watch after Hot Fuzz.
I mean, we've got time, so
we can keep going on the category trend where we figure out a category and then pile it up with movies, or we could just keep going in a circle between the three of us, or we could start pitching it to the audience, or we could just each of us submits one movie and then we pull a random one out of a hat or something, or
we just put up 3 and just say pick one of these 3.
True.
You know,
that's true.
I don't know. This is off-stream discussion. We love having our off-stream discussions on stream, and I like that. I like that. Holiday movies with a twist. I mean, that would be, watching a holiday movie now would be kind of funny. I don't know. Just
Add Santa.
Okay.
I mean, that is a holiday movie with a twist. That's the first one that came to my mind.
Yeah, I saw King bring up Krampus earlier.
I've never seen Krampus.
I haven't.
I haven't seen it either.
I'm not watching any horror movies. No fucking way.
I'll watch it if it's like a high quality one, but I'm not watching one just for the sake of like getting scared. But if somebody's like, "This is the best movie of all time,"
the only one I'll watch is Cabin in the Woods because it makes fun of the genre.
Yeah, I love Cabin in the Woods.
Movie. Yeah, that's a great film.
Have you watched Tucker versus Dale?
I haven't.
Tucker and Dale versus Evil.
I always scroll over it.
If you like Cabin in the Woods, then you'll like that movie too.
Yeah. It's
seen,
right up that same alley.
like bits and pieces of Ash versus Evil Dead.
You need to. If Cabin in the Woods is up there for you, then what is it? Tucker and Dale
versus Evil.
Tucker Evil versus Dale. This is the Unknown Podcast.
If you like Cabin in the Woods,
what's the dude who's in it though? Tucker and Dale versus Evil.
It's the guy from Firefly.
One of the guys I'm kind of just like
Alan Tudyk.
Alan
No, I
Tudyk.
like Alan.
Oh.
He actually did a really good job in Doom Patrol. If you haven't watched Doom Patrol yet, but Tyler Labine, the guy who plays Dale, I'm very hit or miss on his choice of comedy. I kind of find him annoying.
That's a good one, and it's in the same vein of like turning the genre on its head and making it about something that you wouldn't think it's about.
Honestly, what I would want to, I genuinely, I like bad movies for like The Room. I mean, The Room is kind of just what people think of, but movies that are, I would want to explore that side of film too, because I think there's things to take away from that, be it just the movie in general or like screen, like, because my brain usually goes into like, when movies are bad in this way, it's what would I want to do different that would make it better or something like that, you know? And I think it's kind of fun to look at movies that are bad and watch them in that sense and see how they can go.
I almost said that earlier. Was going to say like, what if we picked like 4 movies that got a 0% on Rotten Tomatoes or something like that?
No, I would 100% be up for something in that ballpark.
Oh yeah, this movie got a 94%, by the way.
Which one?
Malkovich?
Being John Malkovich, yeah. 94%.
I believe it. It's really smart, and I'm, especially if that was Charlie Kaufman's first screenplay that everyone got exposed to, like, no wonder everyone was like, wow, that was so innovating, because it was like, that was his first public thing, and he was definitely not like any other screenplay writer, so...
It's I mean, seeing that Ebert was always when I started getting more into movies and I would look up reviews and stuff, Ebert was I feel like more often than not I was pretty much on par with Ebert and his take on, and the way he does reviews was really I enjoyed reading his stuff.
Yeah,
And
same.
And so to see that he gave it a 4, I mean, I'm not surprised that that's as high as it is. But yeah, no, I think exploring bad movies and having fun with it, but also kind of looking at them critically and like, not just like, oh, this movie was shit, man, because whatever. Like I would want to explore them a little more.
Yeah,
I guess seriously in a sense. And it's, I would be fine watching The Room again and whatnot, but I feel like The Room is just everyone's go-to, and there's a lot of other stuff that's out there to explore.
I don't think I have it in me to talk about The Room again.
Yeah, I like to say
it was like cool when I first saw it, and then like I watched it a couple more times, and it's like, oh, this is so quirky. But like me trying to like me talking about The Room, I think in like this format, I'd have to like turn this into actual work.
yeah,
And I'm good.
yeah.
That's what I mean. Like, yeah, and that's what I think.
I'd rather watch a whole season of Nathan For You and talk about that for 2 hours.
I could do that.
I could do that too.
Yeah, I keep seeing the it keeps popping up on TikTok. It's the where he's doing the magic trick, and he's like, and I have a police officer right here, and I've got a line of children here. Like that whole thing is so funny. I think Amber and I just watched the stupid Starbucks one too. The stupid Starbucks cracks me up every time. Yeah, it's so good. Or dumb Starbucks. Yeah, sorry, dumb Starbucks. Okay, yeah, I don't have anything else, and we'll figure out. So next week we'll plan right now. I hope to God we don't have to get a backup movie because I'm gonna.
I mean, we need to make a backup movie. You and I both know that we need to make a backup movie.
I want to believe in him,
Backup
but
movie should be something that Ryan either absolutely loves and would have wanted to talk about, but we
like
won't
a movie
include
roulette
him.
site or something like that. Movie.
so Inception.
Netflix roulette. What? Oh, real good. That'd actually be a good way to figure it out because then we don't have to pay for it just on Netflix.
That's true.
Yeah.
Let's see. Oh, you can even do it by score. So like you can do under a 5 on IMDb, and you can do under a 50 on Real Good. About to spin this thing. What do you think we're gonna get?
I don't know.
No, that's black and white. Absolutely not. Okay. What?
I'm curious if we can find a movie for you that would break that mold. Porky's. God, I had to watch that. I think that was one of the last movies I watched for a class was Porky's.
You had to watch Porky's for a class?
I think so.
Oh my gosh.
And that was a while ago, so I don't eat.
This has yet to give me a movie that was made before like 1970.
What was
Sean? Have you seen Pleasantville?
Once,
like the UPN show? Oh wait, no, Pleasantville the movie. I saw that movie in theater with my family.
That's black and white.
I mean,
it dives in and out though.
Yeah,
not for all of it.
What was?
It's there's a large portion of it that's black and white.
Also, I didn't choose to see that because I don't know, like 9 when that came out. What am I gonna be like? No, I don't want to go to the movie for this. Like, no, get your ass in the car. We're going to see Pleasantville.
What was the first movie that popped up?
The first, I don't know, some movie from like 1949. I forget. I'm already out of that website. That wasn't a good idea.
Yeah, there's too many like D-level movies on Netflix to spin the wheel.
Circling back to Godzilla, he said on stream recently he watched the 2001 Godzilla 5 times. Jesus Christ.
What? Who, Ryan?
Are you talking about the Matthew Broderick one, Skog? I assume that's the one you mean, is that one. Because, of course, that's one that he's watched several times. I assume that's...
watch Uncut Gems?
I started Uncut Gems, never finished it, so I need to...
You haven't finished Uncut Gems?
No.
That's one of those movies that I'm glad I watched and I will never watch again.
Yeah.
I don't know the last movie that made me feel more uncomfortable than Uncut Gems.
A Lighthouse also made me uncomfortable.
I literally was gripping my chair in the theater when I saw by the end of Uncut Gems. That movie is a ride, dude.
That is 2 hours of intentionally making myself stressed to like a 7 out of 10 level. Like thank you.
It is
I
also
don't want to
trending.
experience it again.
Yeah, that's fair.
The way that Julia Fox says "uncut gems," so I'm sure you've seen that on your TikTok.
Maybe I don't know. We're talking about Godzilla on one of the Cyberpunk streams, and it came up. His taste in movies is ass. Okay, I'm gonna throw it out now, and this can be on the record for if he still does not like Hot Fuzz, but he'll watch fucking Godzilla from '98 with Matthew Broderick 5 times. Then
jump him.
Jump him, man. I don't want to.
What?
I don't. I'll meet you in Vegas. I don't want to go to Vegas.
Just start roasting him on his own social media channels. Just start posting things like, "Hey, my name's Ryan, and I have a terrible taste in movies."
I do have control of his YouTube, so I'll just start posting videos of me and be like, "Yo, what's up, guys?" Yeah, no. It's going to be interesting. I'm very interested for next week to see how he reacts to Hot Fuzz, because it could get heated. It could get problematic real quick. I'm just.
Oh. You know what movie I've never seen that actually is topical to what we're talking about? I've never seen Her.
Oh, Her.
That is one.
We can make that our backup movie.
Favorite Spike Jonze movie. I would love to watch that again.
Her was enjoyable. That was, yeah. I think like the color grading in the film, the Hoyt Van, what the hell is his name? The cinematographer for Her, so good. That film is shot beautifully.
Got Bill Hader in it?
I think he does a voice.
He might be a voice, yeah.
And Brian Cox?
Kristen Wiig also does a voice in it.
All right, fine. That's a backup movie.
Her?
Yeah, that's our backup movie. If Ryan doesn't watch Hot Fuzz,
we'll watch Her. Boy, just
love it. I'm super into it.
Very different tone of films. This is good.
They'll both start with an H though, so we're doing something right.
That's true.
That's our theme.
Theme is H's.
We could throw in the short film Headbanger too. That starts with an H.
What is a Headbanger? What is that?
That was a short film I wrote that Micah helped me.
You haven't seen Headbanger?
That's a Sean H production.
That is a Sean H production.
That sure is. That's a fun one.
I really Googled Headbanger short film to see if I could find it. Like right when you finished telling me it was you who made it. So.
Does it pop up? I'm curious. I'm guessing it doesn't.
I do not see anything under the name of Sean.
No,
so
it does not. I see Dead Banger. What the hell is Dead Banger? I'm not watching that.
Feels like a very different tone.
That's a different person. Gosh, can't wait to hear about the budget versus gross on Headbanger. Oh my god, King. Yeah, me too. Budget was 0, made. Oh my god, I lost money. No,
I mean, really though, probably the amount of electricity that was used to do it.
Yeah, really did lose money. My parents invested in that movie, so thanks, mom and dad. That was fun to make. But yeah, so next week it looks like we will be doing Hot Fuzz tentatively. If not, we'll do Her, the film. Do Her. We will watch and discuss Her. It's a better way to phrase it.
Go ahead and watch them both, because we really won't know if we watch it until like the day we're supposed to film this.
Yeah, I'm fine with that.
It'll be 8:30 p.m. and he's gonna message me like, "Oh no."
He's like, "Oh wait, I was supposed to watch this movie."
Yeah, he's like, "Can I just 2 times the speed and pretend I watched it?" I really have no faith. I have no faith in him.
Nah, me neither. Like, do we need to like text Allie and be like, "Hey, Ryan has homework this week.
Hey, make sure he watches this, please." But you can't be there because he'll fall asleep on her. So the worst. All right. I know. I got nothing else. Are you guys? You guys are good.
Yeah, no, I'm good. Watch Righteous Gemstones. If you haven't gotten into it, get into it. It's a great show. That's my recommendation for the week.
Oh yeah, we didn't do that.
My recommendation for this week is to check out the premiere of Severance on Apple TV. That is very interesting. I'm very into it, and there's only 2 episodes out. So.
Okay, I was gonna ask, did they do the dual release thing?
Yeah, I think Apple generally with its premiere series has been dropping like 2 to 3 episodes, but then they do it one at a time after that, which whatever. But
I'm waiting to start it until it's all done, but I really want to watch the after party.
It's good. We're watching it.
Yeah, like I mean, the cast is too good for it to not be good. I think in my mind, I think anything that Sam Richardson touches is gold. So that's what got me really excited for it. But it's a show that I really just want all the episodes to be out, and then I'm just gonna my Saturday is just gonna be watching the after party.
Yeah, that's a good watch. That'd be another recommend for me.
I don't have. I wasn't thinking of a recommendation, so I don't have anything right now. I haven't really been. Yeah, no.
Have you not been engaging in media, Sean?
The thing that I've been engaging in, you're not going to like my response to, so I'm not going to say it out loud.
What,
so,
Horizon Forbidden West?
No, Taskmaster. So that's what I've been engaging in, and you never like.
You've been doing other things outside of that, though. You've been engaging in other media. Remember, this doesn't have to be movies we recommend. This has to be stuff we enjoy.
Could be albums you're listening to, what games you've been playing.
I've been listening to the Horn Section, which they coincidentally do the music for Taskmaster.
You gotta be fucking joking, Sean.
Yeah, I know. I've been playing Apex Legends. I don't know if anyone's ever heard of that. I'm about to unlock Spider-Man on Fortnite. Boy, I am really stretched.
Oh my! Do something new. That's your homework. Do something that you can bring next week that you don't normally do.
I edit videos and I watch Taskmaster. That's what I do. And I
love it.
And I occasionally play Apex on stream, and that's about it. So
open up that mind,
dude. This mind's always open.
Jared, have you seen, since you mentioned loving Sam Richardson, have you seen the show Champagne Ill?
I have not seen it. I do know of it. I have not watched it.
That's pretty good.
Because his co-star is it Adam Brody? No,
it's Adam Pally.
Adam Pally, yeah. I'm not the biggest Adam Pally fan.
I'm really not either, but his whole shtick works for the roles that they're playing.
Yeah,
because they play hype men.
That's the only thing that kept me from watching that show is that Adam Pally was the co-lead. But I do know of it.
It was pretty good. It's only one season, I think, but it was a good one.
It did not make it to another round.
It was a YouTube TV original.
Yep. But I've been rewatching some Detroiters here and there, and that show is perfect, and it should have never been canceled.
A lot of love for Sam Richardson.
But I mean, we got. I think you should leave, I guess, because of it. So I guess it's a fair trade.
He's great.
Yeah. No. I love. Oh gosh, dude, Richard Splett. Richard Splett is a TV legend. I love Veep. Veep is such a good show. I'll add that to my recommendation list. But yeah, that's where I first learned who Sam Richardson was, and that's why I love him. Even did a little stint in Ted Lasso.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
The only thing I think of his that's like out, it's not like done that I haven't seen is like a werewolf movie with like Milana.
Yeah. It was okay.
That's the only thing I haven't seen of his.
We watched it a couple of months ago. It wasn't great, wasn't bad. It was a perfectly enjoyable movie for a Sunday night.
Called Werewolves Within. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the one Sam Richardson stuff I need to interact with. But no, I love him. If he's in something, I'm gonna watch it.
Well, I can't wait for him to be on Taskmaster, and then you have no choice. So
from the screenshots that I saw of everybody but this one person who I'm trying to figure out who it is, I wouldn't be surprised if he shows up because they seem to have quite a few cameos in that show, huh?
They've got quite the amount of people that pop up on there. So
primarily British people, but you know,
bunch of wankers. Sorry, do not really wanker. It's just fun to say. I'm the wanker. I don't watch things. I do 3 things and that's it. So
I love Taskmaster.
About to be 4. Started on Tuesday.
It's about to be 4 starting on Tuesday.
Witch Queen.
Oh, Witch Queen, yeah. All right. I'm ending this stream now. This is the end of the podcast episode.
This is it.
We got to work on that ending.
I thought that was pretty good. It's very straightforward. If you want any of our info and things like that, if you're listening to us, down in the description, all of our socials, they're on this screen right here. So just
man,
you are
do the thing, and hit the button and
follow us.
What we're gonna do is we're gonna sit down. We're just gonna open up Word. We're gonna type this up, and we'll rehearse it. We'll put it on a screen.
That's not Apex video editing or Taskmaster, so I don't want to do it.
I mean, technically, it is video editing.
It's not. It's writing.
Well, okay, so then you're gonna open up Adobe Premiere, and you're gonna start.
I'll put a text layer in. This is video editing. God, you think you can trick me? It's not gonna fucking work. But yeah, I absolutely need to clean this up. I'll do my best, everyone. I don't know, man. I just like doing this fun.
One of these days, we should do a Taskmaster episode.
I will have to literally pay Jared, I think, to do it.
Yeah. Yep. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Because
hey, if you wanna do a Taskmaster episode, I have a Ko-fi or coffee, however you want to pronounce it. Go ahead and head on over there, drop some ducats in there, and guess what? If you pay me, I'll watch all the Taskmaster you want. All right.
Some ducats. What the hell's a ducat?
It's another word for money. Have you never heard anybody call it ducats before?
No. I thought you were saying donuts and buckets. I was like, that's weird.
I've heard
dollars,
ducats.
Moolah, cashish.
I guess this is why I need to do more things than watching Taskmaster so I can learn what ducats is.
Dude, if you keep doing those 4 things, you're going to end up like somebody else that we talk shit about in this podcast all the time.
Oh, man. That hurts. That one, that one stings.
This is me, your friend, being real with you.
This is an intervention.
Jesus Christ. Micah, you're supposed to be on my team. You love Taskmaster. I wish you could have heard when I told Micah we started watching Taskmaster. He lost his shit when we started watching. He was like over the fucking... I was so excited. He like the moon. He was past the moon. It was unbelievable how excited he got.
He was past the moon. I've never heard that phrase before.
Yeah.
I've been recommending Taskmaster to literally everybody since the start of the pandemic. And I think you guys are the first to watch actually more than the one single episode. Everyone else was just like, oh yeah, I didn't get around to it. Or somebody would be like, oh yeah, we watched the pilot. Haha, it's funny. Bye. And it's just like, I wanted somebody for so long to just like appreciate how amazing it was. And then you came back and you're like, oh yeah, dude, we're like season 3 and we fucking love it. And I was like, fuck yeah, like finally someone loves it as much as me. So,
yeah. And he's holding back there. It was very ecstatic.
I was so happy.
Yeah. Yeah. But anyway, next week, Hot Fuzz. I promise. Task Fuzz. Fuzz Task.
Or her. Don't forget.
Or her. No. I'm gonna put good energy out there that Ryan will not disappoint us, and then thus I will disappoint myself for putting faith in Ryan. But that's fine. That's my choice.
That is your choice. Yeah, because I'm not gonna put that energy out there.
It's just why. Just wish he was reliable, you know.
We all do.
But yeah, friends, appreciate you being here and hanging out with us and listening to us rant and me mess up the intro and the outros and the name of the podcast and not knowing how anything works. But appreciate you all. Socials and all that stuff will be somewhere. I hope you can find it. Should probably make it easier to find. But I should make a chat command, Jared. A chat command. That'd be perfect.
There you go.
Put it on the to-do list.
This is your podcast?
Is it? I don't know. It's just, I don't know. I need to end this now because the hole I've dug is so deep and bad. And I'm just going to go watch Taskmaster. So it's fine.
Thank you for tuning in. This is the Concession Stand Podcast. Tuning out. We will see you next week.
Just end the stream, Sean. Jesus Christ.